Hey everybody, and welcome to this special episode of the DVC Show. I am your host, Paul Krieger, joined as always by my lovely wife, Amy.
Hello.
And we are on location this week for our special 300th episode. We are here in a Cascade cabin at Disney's Copper Creek Villas at Fort Wilderness. And,
we have not been in one of these for what, like 3 years?
4 years it feels like.
We got one night like 3 years ago.
And if you really want to go back in the DVC Fan archives, that was probably, I think, the first room tour that Amy and I ever did.
Yeah.
It was like the first room tour video ever. Amy saves a lizard, which is like the highlight. It's at the end of the video.
If you want to call it saving. Now that we lived in Florida, we realized it's funny.
I woke up at 2 a.m. last night trying to save a lizard,
we spent our pretty much half hour of our lunch on Friday together trying to get three lizards out of our lanai.
Chase them out of the lanai. So yeah. But thank you guys so much for joining us. The rest of the crew is not here tonight. It is just Amy and I joining you and answering some of your Disney Vacation Club questions. But we are celebrating 300 episodes of the DVC Show. And I just want to kick the show off by first and foremost saying thank you all for letting us come into your homes, letting us be a part of your lives over the past. DVC Fan this summer will be 7 years old.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That just makes me feel ancient, really, more than
anything.
And
believe it or not, we've been there since the beginning.
Yes.
We might not have been in driving the car or sitting in the car, but we sure were pushing it the entire time.
That's a great way to put it. That is, I don't know of a better way to really put it, but yeah. A lot of people always ask, like, where did you get your start with, DVC Fan and everything like that? And I always tell the story. I was mowing grass in my backyard, and I was in the right place at the right time, and I asked the right question at the right time, and it allowed me to, be a part of this amazing community. And I have been here since the beginning. You have been behind the scenes since the begining before really getting involved in writing and doing other stuff. Shout out to...
I actually ghost wrote under your name for a little while. Do you remember that?
No. But I want to go back and read those blogs now. Lauren Dela Cruz, who I know is moderating in the chat, she has been around basically, I feel like, since day one as well. It is this community that's really allowed this to become what it is, and we couldn't be more grateful for all of you. And they are not here tonight, which means that I can talk about them in various different ways, whether it be comical or sweet, and most of it is sweet, but this show also would not be what it is today without the other amazing people that we surround ourselves with each and every week. We met Derek early on in this process. Derek DeBoer actually sold me a Grand Floridian contract that I gifted to Amy a long time ago for Christmas, a 50-point add-on contract. This was before we were ever doing DVC Fan or any of that kind of stuff. So pretty cool that he entered our world then, and he has been just as kind to us from that day forward.
Just the best person that we met as soon as we started working for World DVC, just the most welcoming, kind, generous, thoughtful thoughtful guy.
Yep.
We love Derek.
Panda has been just kind of that shining light in our lives ever since we met him. Obviously, in a previous iteration of this show, we met Panda. He was behind the scenes. And what was great about that is no matter what you were walking into every single week, you knew that Panda was going to be there with a smile on his face, and sometimes with some sort of like Mickey tchotchke or something that he would gift you when you walked in the door.
He was all about gifting.
And so we just love that he is still in our lives, literally right down the road from us, and so happy to have him continue to join us. And then Jeff Haslam. I feel like, so Jeff is kind of, we always just say his name. He doesn't have like an official title. He is just part of this show. And he has become such an important part of our lives. He's one of our closest friends down here in Florida. You know, he randomly is driving for his work and drives by our exit and gets off the exit ramp and comes over. I mean, he is such, him and Amy are wonderful, wonderful friends of ours. And Jeff has, since we kind of met him in this space.
A true friend will sit at your house waiting for your appliance to arrive when you can't. So that's Jeff.
Yeah, so they all have been amazing. And then having you by my side. It's pretty cool to be able to say that you work with your wife every day and do something that you love to do. So that is what we are really celebrating today, is you, our amazing DVC fan community, and the amazing people that work tirelessly every single day to make this possible. And that also goes to our sponsors over at the world of DVC. DVC Resale Market, if you're looking to buy or sell a Disney Vacation Club contract. DVC Rental Store, if you're looking to rent out your points, rent some points for a fraction of the cost that it is direct through Disney. They can save you a lot of money. Monera Financial, who will help you in financing that DVC resale contract. And a quick shout out for a new brand, well, I would say an evolving brand. A changing brand of the world of DVC, Unlocked Magic. If many of you remember, Unlocked Magic was actually a subscription-based community a couple years ago that we actually worked on a little bit behind the scenes. Unlocked Magic has kind of rebranded itself, and it's becoming a ticketing site. So the best discounts when it comes to Walt Disney World or Universal Orlando tickets, go to unlockedmagic.com/DVC fan and check out some of those deals, because I can promise you, you will not find better deals on the internet, most likely. So that out of the way, we are here to answer some questions tonight. If you hear things like a blender or other noise behind the scenes, our amazing friends Dustin and Aaron have joined us in the cabin, and they're cooking us a gourmet Italian dinner while we just talk to a random camera and a computer.
They're doing all the all the heavy lifting over here.
They're doing the Lord's work over there while we just randomly talk to you guys for the next hour and a half or so. And Amy's already kind of going through the questions. So tonight, we're here to just answer your questions. Answer any Disney Vacation Club related questions. Answer any general Disney questions. We did open this up first to our Patreon community, patreon.com/DVC fan. If you want to support us in additional ways, we greatly appreciate all of you that are Patreon supporters. But we did want to make sure that we got to some of those Patreon questions first and foremost tonight. And I know one of them, I think basically it kind of just piggybacks to what we have just been talking about. But Uncle Joe from Boston basically said, congratulations on reaching 300 episodes. Questions, where do we see the future of DVC Fan going? I'm going to ask that to you.
Okay, well, how old are we? I'm like...
Too old. We're not going to age ourselves here. In our 20s, I don't know.
We'll be here. We'll be doing this as long as you guys are around, as long as you're watching us.
As long as you'll have us.
Yeah. I mean, as long as we can and still get around.
Yeah, and I think you guys have seen where some of our content has evolved over the past year. We really want to kind of provide you with not just Disney Vacation Club content, but also expand that into other things. We get a lot of questions about what's going on in the Orlando area, what other things are there to do in the Orlando area. Having Jeff make some amazing videos for us that are up on our YouTube channel as well, showing you around the park, showing you unique experiences. Because as Disney Vacation Club members, we're here so much that you kind of always are looking for something else to do. And so that's what we're trying to really expand into and show you. What are those things maybe outside the parks or that are kind of resort adjacent that you can do while you're on a trip down here?
Yeah. Okay, so Jose Cora, I hope I pronounced your name right. He said, and we read this question, and when we read it, we thought this is actually a really good show topic.
Yep.
So Jose, we're probably going to turn this into a whole show because we love the question. Basically, he said that he recently had stayed at Old Key West. He went to visit Riviera. He felt that they were kind of night and day. Like the resorts were very different in terms of, the amenities and what was in the resort. And he asked, what do you like of the older resorts compared to what is new, the newer resorts? And he said, as examples like family activity rooms, games, whatever, beds, all that. And that's a really loaded question because there's just so much to talk about there. There's so much difference between those older resorts like Old Key West, Saratoga, versus the resorts that grew up instead of out, the Riviera, the Poly Tower. And so we're going to turn that into a whole show. But for us, I think one of the big thing is the size, how spread out the older resorts are. Like, we love that. We love not feeling like we're on top of other people, and having more space and having space to walk and go for a run if we wanted to, while we're on property. But then the new resorts, they're just so pretty. So.
Yeah. And we always talk about these cabins and bungalows and stuff. They are crazy points. We are lucky, through work tonight to be able to be here. We filmed a room tour of the cabin. We did a 3D tour of the cabin. So a lot of cabin content coming very, very soon. But this is though something on the other end of the spectrum where, as much as I hate how much these things cost, being here for one night, they're gorgeous. Like they are just drop dead gorgeous. Every amenity, the things that they think of in these spaces compared to some of the other rooms that we see on property.
Yeah, and honestly, like Wilderness Lodge in general is a very pretty resort. We didn't fully appreciate it until we moved away from home because it reminded us of home. So we were like, we got that. We got that back in West Virginia, even though it's more of Pacific Northwest style. But now that we live in Florida, it does feel like, we've got the pine trees and the rustic vibe. And so, and you really can't go wrong with Copper Creek or Boulder Ridge. Both are, amazing villas inside Wilderness Lodge. But
thank you so much, Andrew Waltrip, for the super chat. Thanks for all that you do. Thank you. We wouldn't, again, like I said earlier, we wouldn't be here unless it was for you, our amazing community. So thank you guys so much. There was one or two other questions from Patreon that we wanted to get to before we kind of dive into some of the questions that you guys have been asking already.
Yeah, so this one's a little different, and actually I have a lot of thoughts though really quickly on it. So Lori Fenton, she's been a Patreon supporter for a while. Thank you, Lori, for your question. She said that she was looking to move to Florida in 5 to 7 years, considering retiring there, and she just wanted to know what we wish we knew about moving to Florida before we moved there. And what I do want to say is that we've seen some other people in the DVC fan group reach out and ask, is there anyone here that's moved to Florida that can help me? I have a couple questions. And I will tell you that the DVC fan group is actually a great group to turn to for those questions. We don't mind you asking them in DVC fan. There are a lot of people just like you that love Disney. You are DVC members, you already own deeded real estate here, so you're very, very invested. And so a lot of
DVC is like the gateway to moving to Florida.
Right, and some of you may think we're crazy and never going to move here, but that's fine. But a lot of people do. A lot of people realize they just want to be here, full time or retire here. And actually, as someone who finances DVC for a living, Florida is the largest concentration of DVC members. We do the most financing in Florida. I think New York is a second, but Florida is definitely the largest.
Yeah.
And so
that is, I did not know that until probably this past year.
Yeah.
We really kind of uncover that statistic. Mm-hmm. And so it kind of points to, we are locals, but so is the majority of actually the DVC audience.
Of the majority of the DVC base. So feel free to ask your Florida living questions in DVC fan, because you might find community, you might find, one of the things that can be really hard about moving to Florida is moving away from family, moving away from the friends you already have, building those connections with new people, finding new friends, and you can find them. Most of our friends are from Disney Vacation Club. We've met fellow DVC members and Disney lovers.
Maybe all our friends.
Yeah. So I guess the question is, what would you wish you had known? There's nothing that would have turned me off though from living here. Like, we love it.
Yeah, for sure. We love every aspect of it. Many of you guys know we recently moved to a different house. That was a reflection of when we moved down here originally. We were, we needed to come down here to be down here for work. And at the time, the best option for Amy and I was to buy a house a little bit further out that provided us a little bit more of a house, a little bit more land, because our dogs are the most important thing to us when it comes to picking a home. And so by moving a little bit further away, that allowed us, and I mean, for those of you familiar with the Florida area, we were basically in Lakeland, Florida. So that is, on a good day, a 2-hour drive from the parks. And so it was a 5-year goal for us to move a lot closer, which we now have. We're up in the Claremont area now. And so do your research. There's nothing I don't think that I didn't know in thinking about moving down here, but it's very much just something to do your research and really hone in on that area that you think you want to be in. Because Amy and I moved from a very rural city, in Wheeling, West Virginia, and we did not know what big city living was like. And in big city living, you're a half hour to an hour from everything. And so when you really zoom in on the area that you're trying to live in, it becomes a little bit more important to decide like what section of
and
Orlando.
We didn't spend enough time doing that.
No.
So
because
get to know the area, get to know the areas, get to know Claremont, Mineola, Winter Garden, Winter Park. Oh my gosh!
I still don't understand Winter Garden. If anyone can explain to me
Winter
why,
Haven.
I feel like they named anything Winter Garden that they didn't have a name to.
It's just
kind of around
shape,
around the kind of the Bay Lake area or kind of
There's
around
many places though.
This general area. So I'm going backwards through time here, and I'm just going to randomly pick some questions as I stumble upon them. Kevin Phillips asks, when do you guys think we might hear some information on Lakeshore Lodge? First off, if you haven't looked recently, that thing's about 7 or 8 stories in the air. Mm-hmm. They are not messing around.
And it's not
over
just
there.
Framing anymore. It's exterior walls and stuff.
It's crazy how quickly they are building this resort. They're saying a 2027 opening for it. I want to imagine, based off of the pace that they're building it, that we could see this open at early 2027 unless they hit the brakes for some reason or another. Yeah. Because the fact that they've got another year and a half here before we hit 2027, on the speed that they're building that resort, it's going to be up very, very quickly. My hope is that Destination D23 is coming up later this summer, I believe in August. I'll actually be attending that event, but I'm hoping that maybe we get just at least a piece of concept art, because we have to remember here, a lot of the information for Lakeshore Lodge that we're kind of assuming at the moment is based off of reflections information. We know the same general footprint, we know the same general design, but did they change up what the theming is going to be or what the rooms are going to look like? We received some of that, some of those pieces of information before, but we've gotten nothing.
Are they still doing the little treehouse designs that they had originally
We
thought
just have a name.
Yeah, are we going to have a Tiana restaurant like they had originally planned? So we don't really know.
If they could announce anything for Lakeshore Lodge, it would be that they agree with Amy Krieger and they want to change the name to Lakeside Lodge. Because Lakeshore Lodge, I just have to think about every time it comes out of my mouth.
That's not happening.
So, probably not going to happen. But great question, Kevin. Thank you so much.
While you're looking through, I just wanted to point out, so Kim... I'm so bad with pronouncing names. Leidman said she was sitting at Cake Bake Shop watching us eating dinner. We have not been back there since they put in that carousel. Yeah. We need to go back there. So Kim, let us know how it is. Just curious. It's been a while since we've been there.
Yep. Christine asked, for a staycation, what is your go-to DVC resort?
Okay, so staycation, I'm going to stay and hang out and float in the pool.
Not go to the parks.
Not go to the parks. I probably want to go to Jumbo House. That's probably gonna be my pick. I love the pool. I love the Jungle House pool. And then I have the Savannah. I've got some really good restaurants. Or if I'm gonna go to Disney Springs, I'm gonna go to Saratoga.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, I've still not physically stayed there, but I really want to go to the Island Tower at the Polynesian.
Oh yeah, you haven't. That would be a good one too.
Because you're
you would
so
get the
close.
fireworks still.
You're right there with you know.
Another good one would be Fort Wilderness, because it's its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like its own. You can rent a golf cart. You can go kayaking. You can go and fish if you wanted. Do the s'mores, marshmallow roast. You know what I mean? If you have 2 or less dogs, you can bring your dog. You know what I mean? There's a dog park. So Fort Wilderness, I think, would be a really great staycation. Also, just because I mentioned it, and you brought this up before, can we make a note that Disney put out marketing for Fort Wilderness, and the marketing
That picture of 3 dogs.
had 3 dogs in the
They're just trolling us now. They're just trolling us because we said early on that if they allowed 3 dogs, we would have bought more points at the Fort Wilderness cabins. And yeah, I actually commented from DVC Fan on that post, because I was just like, come on,
3
like
dogs?
really 3 dogs? That last I heard, that wasn't allowed. So.
We have a super chat. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I have not. Let me go back here. Tim Steele reached out on Patreon because I had a question about closing costs, and Amy responded right away. Super patient and helpful. Thanks again, and thank you both for all the info.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you so much for your support.
Appreciate that.
Amy will answer a question any time of day.
If I'm awake and I see it. I will try my best.
Yeah, she is.
No matter the topic.
She is always on top of it with that. So let me see. Let me scroll through some other questions here. Let's see. Nathan said, with so many DVC resorts still not sold out, how big of a market do you see for Lakeside or Lakeshore Lodge? See, you did it too, Nathan. They just need to change it.
Yeah.
Lakeside Lodge just rolls right off the tongue a little bit. I think that by the time that Lakeshore Lodge goes on sale, we're probably going to see a couple of these resorts actually get very close to selling out. I think that Polynesian is most likely going to be sold out by that time. That's a fairly small tower when you think about the points allocated to it. So if they continue as aggressively selling it as we see right now, in a year and a half, 2 years, that's going to be very close to sell out. And Riviera, surprisingly or not, whether or not we want to believe it, is getting there. It is, I think it's somewhere getting close to 70% sold, if not approaching more at this point in time. So
it's got to sell out eventually, right?
It's gonna get there. The other ones, they're just kind of lifers. And so like Alani, it ain't gonna, that's just gonna be around for a long time. Disneyland Hotel, that's gonna be around for a long time.
Yeah, so, because of those transient taxes.
You guys can talk,
They're being so quiet. I feel so bad.
I feel like they lost a puppy by the looks on their face.
Oh, the olive oil.
Did you bring olive oil?
Yeah, we put it in the bag. Oh. Don't you remember?
Why don't you go try to find it?
Okay,
I'll
be right
continue
back,
asking questions. While Amy goes on olive oil duty, I'll continue kind of browsing through some of our questions here. Let me continue to kind of scroll through here. Scrolling through. Dennis, I agree, Dennis. How do we petition Disney for a path or a Skyliner from Animal Kingdom Lodge to Animal Kingdom? From your lips, I wish it would happen. I think it could definitely just bridge the gap and close off, some of those arguments that people have about that resort kind of being so far away. Crispy, love the name, said, "Hi friends, have we discussed Red Baron Pizza yet?" We have not discussed Red Baron Pizza yet. Let me tell you, though, recently there was actually someone tagged Amy in an Instagram story, And in that Instagram story, they also tagged Red Baron because it was about Red Baron Pizza, and Red Baron shared it. So it is our life's goal at this point, if nothing more, to just be able to have a pizza party with Red Baron Pizza. So, Red Baron did like the story and did reply to me saying, hey, we'd love to do something with you at some point in the future. So, maybe, people can dream. Some people dream big. Other people dream of frozen pizzas that only cost $3 or $4. So there you have it. Let's see. Christine said, what is on your Disney bucket list? Oh, man. I would have to say personally for my Disney bucket list, truly a lot of the international parks Amy and I definitely want to get to whenever we can. We also want to get back to Alani sooner rather than later.
The Disney bucket list question is funny because back in my photo history, there was this, I should post it in DVC Fan so that everybody else can use it. It was like this, thing where you filled it in, and it was like my Disney goals, and it was like my 1-year goal, my 5-year goals, and my 10-year goals. And I had written down, I would never be able to find it right now, but we had hit all of our 1-year goals. I can't remember what they were. It was like we needed to stay in a tower studio at Riviera. We needed to stay in, I can't remember now, but we hit those.
Cabin.
And then the 5-year goals was like to try out Hilton Head, try out Vera Beach, which we did get to do. This was a long time ago that we did this. But in my 5-year goals, I put I said one international park, which we planned to, but then the pandemic shot that down, and we haven't been able to schedule it back again. But then I don't remember my 10-year, but that was really cool. So I would love to post that and just see what other people have on their bucket list. Yeah. I really want to see some international parks.
That would also just be a general. That would be also a great show question that maybe we could dive into, see what everyone else on the team kind of answers in terms of what is on.
Tokyo is probably the highest on my list.
Yeah, I'd agree with
Paris.
that. Yeah, Tokyo is like definitely where we want to be.
One of the other things was that I wanted to stay in a real Disneyland on property resort. Yep. And so we've gotten to do that, which is really cool.
Yep. Let's see. The video store said... Great question, because Amy actually prepped for this one. Are the Bay Lake Tower theme park view rooms all finished being refurbished?
They're not.
They are not at all.
We are so lucky. We finally got that refurbished room. We put that tore up.
Refurbished 1-bedroom.
Yeah, the other day.
Week, yeah.
So basically, if you look at Bay Lake Tower, and you kind of you walk into the lobby and you split it in half. So you go on the right side to go up on one wing, you go on the left side to go up the other wing. So if you're facing the pool, facing the desk of the main lobby, that entire right side of the building is done.
Yeah, basically the side that has the path over to the Contemporary.
Right, yeah, the side with the path of the Contemporary. So top floor to bottom floor, those are all done. So that actually is, I thought originally they would just go by floor, and they didn't. They did a whole wing and then the other wing, I guess. So they're now on the other side, but they start at the top and they work their way down. So you're obviously, if you're trying to get a refurbished room and you're in this in-between time, because the technical completion date is not till September, which is a while from now, but it looks like it's going to be done before then. Your best bet is a theme park view room, because they're starting at the top. Now, they're not all done. Not all theme park views are done, but they will be the first full room category done, because they're the highest up. Yep. You know what I mean? And then followed by lake view, and then standard are going to be the standard view rooms, which are floor 4 and lower on that left side of the building. Those are going to be some of the last ones to be done. Yep. So last we were just there last week. We know the 14th floor was done on that side, and we know they were working on floor 11. So that's about where we're at. So one whole side done, the other side we're around the 11th floor, working our way down.
I like this question, and we've not really ever discussed this, I feel like, on a show, but no better time than now. Ron said, how difficult a decision was it for you both to basically leave your previous lives and jobs behind in West Virginia and move to Florida and jump headfirst into world of DVC? Very loaded question. Again, that could be a show in itself. I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. One thing that a lot of people don't realize, which Ron, you did correctly identify, we left our previous positions to work for the world of DVC in some capacity. We never really had any plans to work for someone else, and we were very methodical in making sure that we had our lives set up. You know, there were certain check boxes that had to be met. Certain, you know, I had to know that, you know, I was going to be making X salary. You had to know that you were going to be making X salary. We had to check all of these boxes in our heads. Health insurance, all these things had to be checked off before we actually made that leap. And not until then did we really actually sign on a house and say, okay, we're going to do it. Jumping from other professions, for both of us, a little bit of a different kind of story for that one. For me, I actually was a financial director for an ophthalmologist, an eye doctor, and he was retiring. So for me, I saw that there was no future there with that opportunity, and it was beginning to look towards the next opportunity. For Amy, she was a teacher. That's all I have to say.
I don't know how to take
Any
that.
teachers out there will completely understand. Like,
it was a long 11 years, but there were good things about it, and there were times when I thought that I would retire as a teacher with my pension and be a happy person. But then I realized that I was only 11 years in, and I was in my 20s, and I was trying to figure out how soon I could retire. Like my friend and I, that she ended up becoming my principal for a while. We were laughing one day. We were like, remember when we used to sit and try to map out our retirement plan? So yeah, I do not miss it. There were some good things about it, but I definitely love what I do. And it's funny because I have a degree in English education. I have a national board certification in teaching literature and reading comprehension, and I avoided math. Like the plague. When I was in high school and I was in college, I took the bare minimum of math. And my entire job now, most of it is a lot of math because, you know, I help originate loans and do a lot of math for people. Surprisingly, you can learn to do anything that you put your mind to, you know, and so if you're ever considering changing professions, and even if you're thinking, I don't have skills in this area, you can get them. You can find those skills. And so
I'll just add to this that, you know, here we are, we're celebrating 7 years of DVC Fan, our 300th episode of the DVC Show. For Amy and I, 4 years of that, we've been with the world of DVC in some capacity. 3 years, it was a lot of labor of love. You know, it was a lot of hard work, hoping that maybe an opportunity came.
A lot of volunteer.
A lot of volunteer
volunteering
work.
Our time.
You know, it was a lot of hard work. So it's been a 7-year journey to get to where we are now, in which we are just feel incredibly blessed for the opportunities that we have, not just with this community, but with the company and all that kind of stuff. So. For sure.
Hey, did you get Dennis's question? It was one of the ones in the beginning about 5-month availability. I'll read it.
I don't even know that I've gotten that far, but go ahead.
Well, it's way back.
I'll try to find it. Go ahead.
Okay, I didn't want to miss it because Dennis, I'm pretty sure, is a Patreon supporter. He's a very nice guy. Thank you for your question. Closed on his first resale with the Animal Kingdom Lodge. Congratulations. That was our first contract too, Animal Kingdom. We always do a Thanksgiving trip. I'm estimating my membership and points loading in a month or so. What 2-bed resorts do you think best available 5 months out? Thanksgiving 5 months out, that will be tough, but I don't think it's impossible. I would definitely be looking at the big resorts, the originals, the older ones, you know, Old Key West, Saratoga, Animal Kingdom, most likely Kidani over Jumbo House is going to have more. And if you do end up having to set wait list, those are the ones I would look at to set wait list for, because those are the most likely of coming through. But then also just, you know, stock the system, you know, keep watching, because you never know, something will always pop up eventually. Even if you piece together and maybe it'd be open to split stays, couple nights in one resort, couple nights in another. You get, a whole new change of scenery, and you get the water park benefit ×2. So.
Yep. Let's see. Allison said, do you ever think that Disney will make the member Magic Beyond for resale members that would give them access to some of the direct benefits? We thought about that early on when we heard them rumoring this product. Disney's pretty set in its ways when it makes decisions, though. That's what we've learned over the years. At this point, I think that they kind of just view resale as resale, and they're not going to do anything to really benefit that kind of member group. So while I would love to think that they would kind of see some value in that, they probably see more value in forcing those people to buy an add-on contract to get those member benefits, because that's much more financially lucrative to them. It's not the answer any of us want, but $100 a year versus having to spend $20,000 to $30,000, there's a big difference in that price point there. And as much as we hate to admit it, I think that 80-90% of members at some point in their life become this hybrid member. We were just talking to some people the other day. They're hybrid members. We have a lot of friends that choose to buy direct before they buy resale, and all of that is for those very reasons. So, it's because of all of that. That is why, I just don't know that they'll ever really move that benefit along to other people. So.
I do think that they're going to need to find a way to sell Membership Beyond to international guests.
Yes.
They're going to need to. I'm thinking they're getting a lot of feedback on it. A lot of of our Canadian Canadian residents and UK. I mean, there's a lot of DVC members out there from Canada, UK, and beyond, and it just feels really unfair to them. They get in line for the lounge at Magic Kingdom and they're at the bottom of the list, but anyone with Membership Beyond can come and jump them in the list, but they don't even have the opportunity to buy it. So I really hope that DVC works on that, because I understand your frustration with that.
Yep, for sure.
I know, I'm kind of like going through. We're getting more than I had expected. Elaine Edwards said
Amy expected 0 questions for all of you. She had all these contingency plans.
I did. I had all of this topics that we could talk about if nobody asked questions. Elaine Edwards said West Virginia is getting snow this week.
No, thank you. That's another reason why we moved.
And that's why we moved. Yeah.
Let's see. Valen said, question, I'm a new DVC member via resale as of a week ago. What can I expect and what questions should I ask? My best advice here, hands down, is to go back through the history of 300 shows that we have now done.
Maybe skip the first 100.
Maybe skip the first 100.
But there is, if you go to the DVC 101, if you go to playlist.
Yes.
On the YouTube, the DVC Fan YouTube channel, playlist, DVC 101. Paul did a great series. They were 5 minutes each or less. And it was just basic, like, okay, what is banking? What is borrowing? What is use year? What is, this and that? And so that's a really good, that's a really good little series. I did a very short, I think it was like 1 minute or less each, short series. They were on Instagram and in the YouTube Shorts section called DVC Tip of the Week. There's some good like bite-sized little tips in there for you if you just don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of long-form content. Otherwise, going back and watching the DVC show, I would say starting from, because we really redid a lot of those intro to DVC type videos throughout the last few years. So I would say even starting from like 2023, is that the right year?
Yeah, and I would also, our goal over the course of the next year is to redo some of those DVC 101 videos, because some of them have become outdated at this point. But we really want to kind of add a robust nature to that program for people like yourself that is brand new to this, because we do identify with the fact that it's very hard to maybe just inject yourself into our shows and not know like the perfect thing. And actually, for me, not know where to start. Mm-hmm. For me, it actually prompts me to actually go through our shows and maybe make an individualized playlist on YouTube that is kind of what I would say our DVC Basics series, where these are the shows that we recommend you actually spend some time with, because we do think that by watching these shows you're going to learn more about Disney Vacation Club. So I think that's a pretty big one. Disney Escapades with Tim is a 1-bedroom villa worth buying into at Bay Lake Tower. I think our jaw dropped at Bay Lake Tower in the 1 bedroom.
The 1 bedroom was so pretty, and it's so hard to go back to a studio once you've stayed in a 1 bedroom and you get the king size bed and you get the giant soaking tub and just those windows.
Yeah.
Just the whole living room is, one wall to one wall window overlooking, we were overlooking the theme park and the Contemporary and the monorail, but even on the other side, you've got the lake. Yeah. The
interest in Bay Lake Tower has dropped so much over the past 2 years that I literally left the 1 bedroom the other day and I said, I'm really excited to see Bay Lake Tower have its resurgence or have its second life, because so many people, all of you in our community, have posted pictures of just how some of those rooms were run down and they almost felt sterile to a certain degree. And what they've done with the amazing Joey Chu artwork and everything, who we are trying to get on the DVC show.
So we Paul talked to Joey Chu when we did the video for the Arts Festival. So if you haven't seen that video, go back a little while. Festival of the Arts video. We posted it in January-ish. And he asked, Joey, can I ask you some questions? Do you mind being on camera? And Joey was so gracious.
Yeah.
And he talked all about, the artwork at the Bay Lake and what, his involvement in it. So that was really cool. So it'd be really cool to have him. He's also the one that designed that popcorn bucket. That was the carousel. Very, very beautiful
recently, if you've seen the new annual pass holder mug, or not mug, but the refillable mug that is out in the parks, he did that. I feel like Disney has been using him for so much artwork recently. And so I've connected with him online, and we are going to try our best to maybe have him on the show.
He shared a lot of our stuff that we've posted, so that related to his artwork. So that was really, really a cool connection.
Let's see. Shauna said, are they setting up 2 new cabin models outside of Hoop-Dee-Doo? Yes, they sure are, Shauna. They're actually building an entire DVC sales center outside of Hoop-Dee-Doo. And so that is very exciting to be coming to that area, because I do think that they need to have a way to better spotlight the cabins when people actually come to Fort Wilderness. And those people are coming to Fort, it'd make the most sense if they made people attending Hoop-Dee-Doo almost exit through a cabin model or exit through a sales center, just like most rides make you exit through a gift shop. I feel like that's a no-brainer. It's if you liked Hoop-Dee-Doo, why don't you stay here more often? Exit right this way and we'll show you.
They wouldn't want to be open for the end of that 8-something show.
That is true. Speaking of Fort Wilderness and speaking of the cabins over there, did want to just highlight DVC Fan Summer Fest is coming up this summer again, August 8th through the 10th of 2025. We will personally be at the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort for those days. And we've got something going on every single day of that Summerfest weekend. August 8th, we are doing kind of a monorail crawl around the monorail resorts. So you don't have to be staying at Fort Wilderness to take part in this. We've posted more details of this over in the DVC Fan Facebook group. So we're going to do that monorail crawl on the 8th. If you're unable to attend Summerfest, on the 9th, we're doing a live stream from our cabin at Fort Wilderness. And then on the evening of the 9th, and this is one thing I did want to bring up today, because we have had a lot of people asking this question. So on the evening of the 9th, we are hoping to do a group Hoop-Dee-Doo. So I am actually in talks with Disney to see about us reserving a large block of tickets, which then we can, sell to you, the DVC fan community that's going to be attending that event. And, they'll be sold to you guys at face value. Basically, what we're trying to do is make it so that we know that at least, I think we're looking at 50 tickets. We want to be able to secure that so that we can know that you guys can all attend Hoop-Dee-Doo with us at the same time. We are not going to know the answer to that question until we get closer to that 60-day window.
Yeah, so Disney does not allow like that until
You're
it's like a
really
couple days
close.
outside the
Yeah.
60-day window. So
So,
it's very close.
One
Yeah.
of two things are going to happen. Either we're going to get like the green light and the thumbs up, and we're going to have
Yeah.
those tickets available, and everyone can kind of enjoy those. And we'll make sure to give you information for those of you that are planning to attend Summerfest on how you can purchase those tickets. If for some reason that doesn't happen, we will probably announce to everyone what Hoop-de-Doo showing we're going to try to go to that night, and it's just going to be free for all, unfortunately, for anyone that can get to. Either way we go, we are attending a public showing of Hoop-de-Doo, so it's not going to be like a meet and greet event. It's just the ability to go to Hoop-de-Doo that night and know that you're in there with other DVC fan friends. We will also later that night probably hang out at Crockett's Tavern and hang out at the kind of the beach area of
Yeah,
of
or
Fort Wilderness.
beforehand,
or before the
depending
show,
on which
depending on what
time
show
show.
we do.
Yeah.
But and then the last day of the Summerfest weekend, we are doing. We're going to Magic Kingdom. Actually, that morning we're going to have a special event for our Patreon community. So if you want to be able to do another special meetup with us on Sunday, that is exclusive to our Patreon community. And then we're going to be in Magic Kingdom the rest of that day with kind of a group photo that we're going to do later in the day as well. So. Please, 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 if you're available, if you're in the area, or if you just, are looking for a last-minute trip to come down here for, we'd love to see you for Summerfest. If not Summerfest, we've got. Oh, what happened to that picture? That's rather large. That's because I was trying to zoom in on Jeff dancing. I put dancing Jeff on this picture, so
Yeah.
Bear with me while I make this smaller again. We have Oktoberfest technology, live technology. DVC Fan Oktoberfest. It's still not perfect. That's the best
Good
I'm going
enough.
to get. October 17th through the 19th. We are at Old Key Jeff Resort for that weekend. And more details on kind of what our plans and agenda for that weekend are coming in the near future. But great opportunities just to spend time with you. We loved our Summerfest events last year, and so we said we got to continue to do those and do more of those in the near future. Let's see. I'm going to scroll forward a little bit because I feel like I'm getting
We missed
crazy behind on some
We're
of these
very
comments.
much behind.
So I'm just going to scroll to the current comments now, and I apologize for you all in advance if I skipped your comment. Go ahead and just put it in again. And
Someone said drink each
just-
time Paul and Amy say hoop-de-doo.
Yeah.
I think at the beginning of the show, one of us accidentally said Fort Wilderness instead of Wilderness Lodge. So sorry about that.
Well, we had Aaron and Dustin believing we were going to be at Fort Wilderness for the entire week leading up to this trip. So
Yeah.
And then they arrived here and they were, "This isn't Fort Wilderness.
This is bougie.
This is bougie wilderness." Christine said, "What do you think about the preview center in the Canada Pavilion? Is it busy?" We did mention this. We did put a video up on DVC Fan. Unfortunately, Disney Vacation Club did not let us film when we actually went to tour that. It is important to note it is a preview and sales center, so you do have to specifically make an appointment. For that reason, I don't think it's going to be as busy as other places because
Yeah.
you are making a scheduled appointment to meet with a Disney Vacation Club sales guide,
Yeah.
and you do have to sit down as part of that appointment.
There is an open
House?
hour, but it's very early in the morning.
Yes.
Each day. And I don't even remember what time it was.
Like
It was
9 a.m.
it was like rope drop time.
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to rope drop that thing.
That's exactly what we said. No one's going to rope drop the Canada Pavilion.
And
to go see a
honestly,
DVC
you're not
live.
missing out on much. It's a small room with guides sitting around and computers ready to sell you stuff. Upstairs is a model of a 2-bedroom Polynesian, and they had to make it to fit the chalet or whatever that building is. It's rounded building. And so it's not even the right shape and size of an actual Polynesian. It's just the same furniture and stuff. Go do a real tour at the actual island tower. You're gonna get a better better version of that. But yeah, it's probably not busy. If you really want to schedule an appointment, you can probably walk up and ask them for one.
Dee, I got shut out of the Moonlight Magic at Epcot registration on Thursday. Super bummed. we got shut out as well, everyone. Mark the day, because I feel like a lot of our community thinks we get special treatment, or that we have special press access or anything like that. We are poppers.
Peons,
We had a room booked, and we were actually going for the Hollywood Studios event in September.
It was on Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend, yes. And it was very odd.
It was a very strange, there was definitely some technological issues going on, because ours said we only had 19-minute wait, and we're like, oh yeah, 19.
Yeah, we thought that was a no-brainer. That was the smallest we've seen.
That's the smallest we've ever been given, and we didn't get in because it really took an hour, and there was some problems when we got on and in, and so if you didn't get in, I would say that I feel like something went awry, and I would say definitely try for the general, reservation time, because there might be extra spots than there normally are.
Hey, while you're watching us right now, hit that thumbs up button, because 100 of you have done it and one person thumbs downed it. So let's show it to that thumbs downer.
Hey, when you thumbs down, it's
good for the algorithm.
Still good for us.
I know, and you must really hate us if you're watching us and you wanted to hit that button. So, more power to you.
Sometimes people accidentally hit it. I do that sometimes.
We love our trolls. We engage with them. So
hi, Jackie Schreiner. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. How are you, Mom? Simple Man Guitars said, is a special meet and greet in the lounge always Zootopia characters? Right now it is.
Yes.
We have asked that question to the management up there. They won't directly answer it. It's something where it's a no-brainer to us that they kind of rotate those seasonally.
At least on a yearly
basis. Or at
least
every year change it up, so that you're not constantly doing that. And then kind of going with that, Leslie just wanted some clarification. Does Membership Magic Beyond mean Membership Magic, the $99 thing? So these are actually two different things.
Oh, never mind.
Yes, no, never mind. I'll handle this one.
I'll have it.
So if you are grandfathered into member perks, so essentially Membership Magic is member perks, member benefits. So some people are grandfathered into that program, but essentially it also means a direct person that qualifies for benefits, member benefits. Membership Magic is deemed member benefits. So anyone that has that designation or that DVCY designation on their membership card, you qualify for Membership Magic and member benefits. Member Magic Beyond is basically a tier,
the same word with another word added. That's where it's confusing.
And what is the designation on the card?
It's
DVC
MB.
You have it.
B. YB.
You're just making.
I think it's YB.
You're just making up things right now.
No, YB.
In the time that I'm looking for it, I guarantee
$5 bet.
I guarantee you that Lauren has put it in the.
She probably has. She always knows.
BY. YB.
Just kidding about the $5.
So the Member Magic Beyond is new this year. It is an additional $100 that you pay yearly.
$99.
Yeah. $100. I don't know why.
There might be taxes though.
But it is an additional fee that gives you some added benefits above and beyond that. Is it worth it? I would recommend you head to dvcfan.com and search in the search bar Member Magic Beyond and actually read our breakdown of that specific benefit.
We did a whole show on it too.
We did.
There's definitely benefits that for some people you will make your money back and then some. But it just depends on your style, what things you take advantage of, where you live. There's a lot of factors, how often you come. So you kind of have to read through that list of benefits and say, okay, that would benefit me. That won't, but that will. So those two make it worth it. You know what I mean? So yeah, worth it for some, not worth it for others. But still, everybody should get the chance to buy it.
Lauren said, how do you know that I'm typing it?
How did you know?
We've been around you for 7 years and 300 shows. We know you. Let's see. Big Dave, any ideas when we could get more info on Reflections, and when it will be part of Cabins, Campground? We own DVC. We did talk, Big Dave, a little bit earlier in the show about the Lakeshore Lodge. And so rewind a little bit and go back to that question. But to answer your question about, will it be part of the existing cabins or not? Again, that's all speculation at this point until we get more official word from that. I think that from how we've studied the trust, the Palmetto Trust, and that product, what we know is they've basically written it in a way where they could include it, and they could not if they chose not to. So it's going to be a decision.
I think it would be a good thing. It would bring the cabins, hopefully, those dues down, because those dues are really out of control, which would help them, sell this property. And it's all kind of in the same location.
Yep.
So, I'm hoping for it, but, who knows?
Tim said, does the cabin have a plunge pool or a hot tub?
It is a hot tub.
We've got a hot tub, and let's just review. It is a high of 96 today
I'm still
in
getting
Florida,
in it when the sun goes down.
We're still going to give it a go here. I feel like Tim also asked earlier, what's for dinner later? So we brought in a gourmet chef tonight. Actually,
we don't.
It was Aaron and Dustin, but Dustin has left, so we've scared him off already. We forgot the olive oil. But the story of the olive oil has come full circle. There's none in the gift shop.
So here's the thing, and you weren't there, but Dustin was in our kitchen today when we were talking about that olive oil. I wonder, I had to take it out and wipe it off because it had olive oil on it. And I wonder if I never put it back in.
Okay.
But I was like, I sat it in there. Like, everybody watched me sit it in there. Yeah. But I might have taken it out.
Anyhow, on the menu, I believe, is some bruschetta. We have focaccia, and we have spaghetti.
Not just like it's homemade focaccia.
Homemade focaccia.
Homemade.
Yeah, we've got
pasta sauce from Erin's Italian grandmother's recipe.
Yeah, there's dough that has proofed out in the Florida humidity for the past hour.
Yeah.
While we've been talking, and it actually did real good.
Oh, look at that! Like, bring that over, Erin.
Right up. Look at that.
Look at this beautiful focaccia dough.
Look at this. Bring it all in here.
This is
people
Erin.
Just eat that.
She was on the Moonlight Magic episode that we did.
Very doughy.
Ooh, it's like.
It's got a jiggle to it.
Also, I tried to make banana pudding, and it is like soup. It did not set up, so I don't know what went wrong.
We got a blender though. Fun fact: you can actually get a blender from housekeeping. You can request one. Hey Disney won't get it for you. It'll just yell at you.
Hey Disney will bring you coffee, but they won't bring you a blender.
But we got a blender. So we're thinking about banana smoothies with or without alcohol maybe later. So that's what's going to... And we got cake pops too. Aaron and Dustin made cake pops. They actually both made cake pops. Let me see if I get this right. Dustin made red velvet with white icing, and you made chocolate with chocolate icing. And it's going to be the taste off of cake pops. So that is... Yeah. That's exactly what he said as well. He said
this was on my topics. Wait, go up with the Dennis. Dennis. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Dennis.
Dennis O'Brien said, heard you were going to Disneyland for the 70th next month. Mm-hmm. I'll be there starting the 13th at Grand Cow and can't wait. Dennis, we'll actually be there.
We will be
Grand
there.
Cow the 13th.
Yeah.
We only have 3 nights because Paul and I are actually going on a cruise out of LA. And then we just tacked on a couple nights at Disneyland.
Yeah.
So we're there the 13th through the 16th.
Yep.
So maybe
maybe
we'll see you there. Yeah, it'd be good to see you.
We've got a couple different people we're meeting up with already. I know Carrie is going to meet up with us.
Yeah, and we're staying at Grand Cow those 3 nights. So, we'll also, on that note, we'll be checking out the refurbishment. I know a lot of people have been disappointed in the lack of bathroom being refurbished, so we're gonna investigate all that, do some video content and stuff, and bring some of that to light to see what's happening.
Yepper. Now I gotta go back down.
I know it's a lot of scrolling.
Lauren's asking the questions that everyone is thinking. Oh no, did you refrigerate the base of the pudding for a few hours first? Assuming this is the Magnolia recipe.
I was too lazy for the Magnolia recipe.
She's listening to you talk right now. I don't have to tell her anything.
I did not make the Magnolia recipe. I literally bought instant banana pudding from Kroger.
She's so ashamed of you.
I know. And vanilla wafers and bananas. And I made the pudding last night and I put it in the fridge and it never set. And I put in the exact amount of milk that it said. Now, I will be honest with you, we haven't bought real milk for a long time. We do almond milk because it lasts longer and it's less calories. But we always make chocolate pudding with almond milk, and we've never had a problem. So I don't know what went awry. And then I thought maybe I'll just layer everything and put it in the fridge, and then it'll set later. So I made layered the pudding with sliced bananas and the vanilla wafers, and then multiple layers. And now I just got banana soup with floating bananas and wafers.
Really stubborn pudding.
It tastes good. Oh, and I added whipped cream too. So I don't know what happened.
Let's go here. Donnie Marie on the go. DVC member, longtime viewer. Keep the shows coming. And give Panda a sandwich because he's wasting away. Panda has been on a weight loss journey for a while now. Him and I actually talk about it. For those of you that don't know, I owned a gym in a previous life. Can provide a little bit of advice to him in some of those areas. Tremendous journey. He's working so hard.
Right.
We're so proud of him.
And he's been able to go and ride rides that he normally hadn't been able to ride.
He's like a kid, experiencing some of these rides for the first time again.
So that's really awesome.
Incredibly proud of him and all the hard work that he's done. He also is embarking on a new career right now. And we're incredibly proud of him for that as well. So you will notice in some of the upcoming shows, Panda will be missing from one or two of them because of just the timing of things and some training that he has going on in his initial window of getting onboarded.
But he'll be there.
Oh,
he'll be back.
He'll always be here, whether it's big fat panda or medium sized panda or whatever you want to call him. So let's see. My wife wants to go to Alani, but I don't want to sacrifice my park time for a fancy beach trip. Anyone feel like Alani is a Disney place and worth a whole trip if you're not a beach person?
Okay, so here's the thing. I get his line of thinking. That's how we would have felt maybe 5 years ago or 5 to 6 years ago or so. When you first get into Disney and you're not there all the time like we are and a lot of DVC members are. You want to go to Disney. We would go to Disney. That was our only place that we traveled, and we were going there 5 times a year. So I understand that mentality. We don't have it anymore because we're lucky that we live here. Mm-hmm. We get to be there a lot, so I see a lot of worthwhile in Alani. But it doesn't have to be right now, but your wife wants to go, so maybe you should.
I would also just say it doesn't have to just be a beach trip. You can divide those days.
Disneyland is a good halfway stopping point.
Do a stopover in Disneyland. Yeah. But also there's so much to do in Hawaii and in the Alani area and on that island, or if you're island hopping, there's so much to see.
Yeah.
We wanted to go to the ranch that is famous for where they filmed Jurassic Park and where they filmed King Kong and stuff like that. We didn't make it there because of some other stuff that we had going on that trip. We also wanted to go to where we were gonna go to Dolphin.
The dolphin thing, we missed all that. It was because I was sick.
Yeah,
I had a hernia.
But there's so much to do there too, which would kind of be your park ticket. So there's a lot of stuff other than just sitting.
But
on a beach
I would say, depending on where you're flying from, meet your wife halfway. Fly to Disneyland, do a couple days in Disneyland, fly to Alani, do a handful of days at Alani, and then you got both. You know what I mean? Because Alani is worth it. It is so pretty. It is so Disney, but it's also so Hawaiian. And so, you've got amazing food. You've got stunning beaches. You've got amazing, landscaping and things to see and scenery. And
Elaine's laughing at your banana soup.
It is.
But it's not burnt rice. Let's put it that way. Only Elaine will know what that means. Let's see. TJ said, Amy, thanks for answering my random DVC questions and helping with my range anxiety when I first got my EV. So
I kind of remember that.
Amy still has range anxiety based off of the settings.
I do. I'm always like, well, why is it? It says we're only gonna have 5% when we get home. He's like, yeah, but that's when we get home, and that's still this many miles. So.
Yep. Let's see. Christine said, what do you see as the future of DVC? Continue the status quo, new places? That's a really loaded question, and the only reason I say that is just based off of my knowledge of kind of how this works. It's like any corporate enterprise, which is that right now it's moving in the direction of, Bill Dirksen and the other people that are in charge of DVC. And while I say this multiple times, but while we think that there's this broader long-term vision, and maybe there is a strategic 10-year plan or something like that, every year, if you're in the corporate world, those things change and you push things down the road because there's just things that you don't care about this year to really think about. You're thinking about what it takes to maybe hit that budget or hit that number that matters for you and your division of the company. I think what we've seen more than ever over the past year is that DVC is very valuable to the Disney brand and the local domestic parks brand. And so I continue to see them kind of doubling down on those resorts. I don't think we ever see them build a property here in Florida or in California that doesn't have a DVC component to it, just for tax reasons, legal reasons, you name it.
Savings.
All of that kind of stuff bundled in.
Yeah.
So this is a product that I think is going to be around and kind of is ingrained in what the Disney park sphere is now.
Okay, you have to answer Jose's question. Jose said, hey guys, we're in the lodge now, coincidentally. If I see you okay to approach and say hi? Last time I checked, Paul stopped biting people. So I think you can say hello.
For the record, even as a child, I was not a biter.
I'm just kidding. Yes, of course. So Paul and we say this all the time. We are actually very introverted.
Yes.
So I tried to get Paul to go up and say hi to like this vlogger that he watched one time, and he went and do it.
I saw Josh Tomorrow one time. I was like 10 feet from him.
Go introduce yourself to Josh Tomorrow.
I texted Amy. I was like, Josh Tomorrow's right there. And she was like, go say hi. And I was like, nope.
Nope.
But also, I live behind, if anyone has seen the movie We Bought a Zoo, there is a quote in that where it's basically, it just takes like
10 seconds of insane courage. Yeah, you just need 10 seconds of courage.
And I have to remind myself of that sometimes. Anyhow, we're off topic here. Jose, if you see us, definitely come say hi. Now, I would not, recommend going door to door through the cabins and knocking and trying to find us. Most likely, Disney security is not going to like that. But if you see us out and about, then definitely stop by and say hi, because we love meeting all of you. We love meeting. So we met so many of you recently at the Epcot Moonlight Magic event. That was awesome. We stumble upon you all everywhere, and it's just amazing throughout this community, not only just to meet you all, but to also hear about the relationships that people have made within the community, like friends becoming friends because of this community. That's what this is all about at the end of the day. We sharing a love of something with others and having people that understand understand you. For sure. We'll take another 10-15 minutes here and answer a couple more questions, and then we're gonna eat some focaccia. And well, actually we won't, because Dustin's not back with olive oil yet, so we're gonna just
I cannot believe I left that out of the bag. And then we just left it sitting there, probably on the counter.
The dogs probably.
And dogs are making olive oil food right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Straight from the bottle. Could DVC build a new resort at the front of Epcot with direct access into the parks? Did we answer that one already?
We could dream. I don't know.
Listen, we thought that was a rumor.
There's been a rumor for a long time that Disney has had plans for some sort of front of park, resort for Epcot. Again, it's like, I think it's just strategically, what do they do there? Because you're a little bit land strapped. They need every ounce of that parking lot space, because that parking lot does fill up certain days of the year. So taking some of that away is a question mark. So where do they expand some of that? How do they move the roads around? Probably a long-term vision, I imagine they have. I think that we would potentially see them expand upon either, yacht club or beach club or something. Someone earlier in the comments said, what are they doing with all this dead space in, at Boardwalk now? And I put this out there, but I wouldn't be surprised to potentially see a separate association like Boardwalk Tower. You could basically take out the dance hall over there. You could take out that far end.
I hate that idea. Don't mess with my boardwalk.
Yeah, but there's nothing going on down there, so it's like.
Dennis asked how he gets his wife to like Bay Lake Tower, and he said she's never been. So, and he asked if he should just reserve a room. Yes, book a 1-bedroom theme park view. take her, and then
Yep.
that'll be the end of it. That'll be the end of that conversation.
Theme
Stay
park
for
view
fireworks.
is the way to go.
Yeah, one bedroom theme park, stunning. Open those windows, stay for
Yeah.
fireworks. She'll never look back.
Dennis said, thank you for the super chat, Dennis. How do we look into volunteering for World of DVC or look for open positions with different companies that fall under our umbrella? Anytime we do have openings within our World of DVC, or actually our bigger brand is now called Keyholder Vacations. Anytime there are openings like that, they're posted on Indeed or LinkedIn.
Yeah,
So
those two sites.
keep an eye on
Indeed.com
those.
and LinkedIn.
Keep in mind, I always like to set people's expectations. So opportunities with our company are not necessarily like what Amy and I do. And actually a large portion of our company is located in Indiana. And so it's always kind of setting your expectations in those realms when it comes to various openings and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we are very, very lucky that both they wanted us to be positioned down here in Florida, and we can do our other jobs remotely that we do for the company, but that can be an exception. So, but you know, we always are kind of hiring occasionally for new positions. So.
Always growing. So
Yep.
keep a lookout on Indeed and LinkedIn. And I would just search under all the company names. Just be on the lookout. You know, Monera Financial, DVC Rental Store, DVC Resale Market,
Yep.
Managed Vacation Title,
Yeah.
Keyholder Vacations World DVC. That was a lot. That's a mouthful.
Guy said that he's going to buy us a beer, so I don't know where he is.
Where you at, guy?
Where you at, guy? The other person that just came in was Dustin with
The olive oil.
The
that we
olive
left-
oil has
that
arrived.
we left behind. I'm so sad.
Let's
I saw
see.
some ones that I'm sad that I missed, and now I can't.
Leslie, how do you guys deal with the judgment you get from non-DVC people when you tell them that you're a DVC member? I was so excited, and my coworkers killed that vibe real fast. Leslie, I would say it sounds like you need new coworkers.
It sounds like you need to get back on Indeed. No, I'm just kidding. What jerks?
Oh, we got donuts too? Wow. We still don't have olive oil, but we have Krispy Kreme donuts now.
We obviously, since we started working in the realm, people gave up on hassling us.
Yeah, people don't want to have that conversation. I will say though, it continues to be hard for like parents or like friends that don't know this product to like understand what it is. The biggest thing is like trying to explain it as, you know, that stigma that, you know, everyone has with a timeshare program. Mm-hmm. It's not that. This is actually probably the best timeshare. It is the best timeshare program that is out there.
And when you say parents, he doesn't really mean our parents right now, because they've stayed with us.
Well,
DVC,
we cultured them on all things.
They're probably watching
Sorry,
us right now because my
Mom.
mom said hello.
But like early on,
they've
like,
experienced
yeah,
it.
I mean,
so, but like it
I know,
is.
yeah, and it's still like family members and stuff like that. Sometimes we'll talk to them about it, and they just don't.
I think you
understand
have
kind
to
of the product.
accept that some people are never going to understand.
Yeah.
And everybody has their thing. You know, I know sometimes I don't understand why some people go on the exact same beach trip every single year to the same place. I like to see different places too.
Yep.
So, you know, that's their thing. That's what they enjoy. Then your thing is Disney, and owning a piece of that is very important and what makes you feel more connected, and we understand, and that's what this community here is, to understand with you and tell those work people to shove it. Thank you for the olive oil. That looks fancy.
Wow, we got some fancy olive oil stuff going on here.
Not from Spain, like the one
Chris
we
said,
left
does
at home.
DVC Rental Store offer swap programs for hotels outside of Orlando, like New York City? Currently, we do not offer any programs like that. I would always recommend, though, if you're interested in swapping your points in some manner, to go to the DVC Rental Store website, fill out a swap inquiry form so that you get in touch with Ellie, who is our swap specialist, and just explain to her kind of what you're looking for.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know what we can do. We've done some very creative swaps in the past. I even know that we've done some Disneyland Paris stays before.
Yeah.
The bread and butter of that program really has been Disney Cruise Line. We've seen some new success with Royal Caribbean, which is now a part of that program. And then, of course,
Universal.
the Universal right now, and Epic Universe stays left and right. Those things are just flying off the shelves into the swamps. Nathan said, what do we think about the bar being added to the Grand Fleury lobby? We are not huge fans, to say the least. I'm not opposed to it. If they do it right, it'll be interesting to see what the final
If
product
they do it right.
looks like.
The lobby is always a madhouse. So
Still will be.
it's going to be a madhouse no matter what.
Yep.
But at least you'll be able to get a drink instead of not being able to get into Enchanted Rose.
That is a problem.
Which is a problem sometimes. But I don't know. Is it just going to be drinks? Is there going to be some snacks? That might be interesting. I guess I have to reserve judgment until I see it and see how the whole thing turns out.
Yep.
But one thing I do want to say about Grand Floridian Lobby is that if you are trying to go get something at Enchanted Rose and it's full, head over to Citrico's. The lounge over there is usually empty. Usually not very many people are there, and they have really good food and drinks, so that's always an option as well.
Yep. Any plans on adding a contract from Lakeshore Lodge when it opens up? Nope. Not for me.
No, I mean, in a perfect world where I have unlimited funds, I'd love to own there.
I'd love to own all the resorts.
But I think that we are pretty much maxed out on points, especially as two people who live here, two people who have recently gotten very much into cruising. We love our DVC. We don't have any intention of selling any of our points. We use them.
Coronado, I think, is the only one that would change the answer.
If Coronado happened, we would have to do some soul searching and looking at what we have and what we might sell to get that. That would be a big one for us.
It's truly the only property that I think we think
and
of.
Or if
don't say Yacht Club.
No. I do love Yacht Club. If Yacht Club, that would be soul searching for me and convincing. If Fort Wilderness allowed us to bring all three of our dogs, I think that I would love to be able to have some points there to do a staycation once a year or so with my dogs there.
That would probably for us though be like a flip of a contract.
Yeah.
So we would probably flip one of our other contracts and then buy that contract. That was the plan, at least originally with Fort Wilderness. Is we were actually going to sell, I think, our boardwalk contract.
We will.
And we were going to do that instead. Let me see here. What else we got going on? For those of you that do watch our show every Monday, just while I'm kind of scrolling through some other
Uncle Joe
comments
ate
here.
3 Mickey bars while watching the show.
That's pure impressive right there.
DVC Dan would be jealous because he always says he's going to eat double digits and he eats one.
Yeah, he can never get there. For any of you that typically tune in to our Monday show, this is going to take place of our Monday show this week. We are filming new shows this coming week. We'll have those out to you, coming up very soon as well. So this will be our Monday show for
that comment right there that you're about to pass by. I think it goes with the people at work not being very understanding of DVC. Where he says that he stresses that DVC is not just a version of a timeshare, yada, yada, yada. I think all you have to do to show someone that DVC is not like any other timeshare is pull up resale of any other timeshare and pull up a resale listings of Disney Vacation Club and see how much more Disney Vacation Club still cost on the resale market because of the value that it still holds. Whereas other ones, people are giving them away for $1 just to get out from under them.
We were just talking to Dustin about this. Dustin has a Sheridan timeshare.
He bought one of the $1 ones.
He bought it for $1.
Someone was trying to get rid of.
One whole dollar.
So, look at those values versus the value that DVC is selling for, and just show them that. Here, I've had this for X amount of years. I've been using it for this much, and I can still sell it right now with less years on the contract than when I bought it, and I can still get this much for it. So that's a big factor as well. So thank you, Simple Man Guitar.
Cynthia said, do you think DVC will continue with membership beyond 100%?
Yes.
I kind of know some internal reasons why they decided to go in that direction. And truly, at the end of the day, best thing that I can say is that it's really to be able to continue to provide a high value of benefits and additional benefits to members.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some price increasing on it in years to come, but benefit increasing probably, hopefully, as well.
Yeah, I hope they kind of see some of the feedback that a lot of people are giving to, and we've already seen the program change from day one. From what they said was like a one-time visit to the member lounge for that extra experience. Now it's basically you can go. It's pretty much if you're on property and you have Member Magic Beyond, you can go. So they're learning as it goes, and I'm excited to see maybe what they do over the course of kind of the next year in terms of
Someone
changing that up.
Kevin Sullivan asked, was looking to use points at Hilton Head in April. Is it cold during that time? Some people answered and said, we obviously have never been to Hilton Head around that time. But what I will say is that we went to Hilton Head in February. It was freezing, and we still had an amazing time.
Yeah.
So don't discount Hilton Head any time of year. There's lots to do. Even if it's not beach stuff, there's amazing restaurants, breweries, places to shop, outdoor activities, other outdoor activities, campfires, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful property. So.
Yep. Hey, while Amy was talking, we got another thumbs down. So all of you that are watching right now, head and hit that thumbs up and show that thumbs down who's boss. Let's see
so
what
funny.
other comments we have. Let's see. William said, "Good evening, Paul and Amy. We purchased points from your senior sales associate with Derek. How long is the sale on DVC rentals?" Bill, just to clarify, I'm not quite sure if you're asking about renting your points or if you're asking.
I think he's asking how all DVC rentals.
Yeah. So if you're asking about how long it takes a sale with DVC resale market, that depends on ROFR time frame and a bunch of other things. Normally it's about a 2-month long process, I want to say.
Accepted offer to close.
Yeah. So
6 to 8 weeks or so.
Yeah. Plus you have to wait for the points to load. If you're looking at renting your DVC points, depending on your resort, depending on when your points are good for, there could be immediate opportunities. You could technically rent them today, as quickly as today. For other situations, it's possible that maybe it just takes a week or two or a little bit longer just to find that perfect match or that perfect opportunity. That's all assuming that you have good points that have a lot of life left on them, like 7 to 11 month availability life. If you've got points that are expiring within the next 7 months, that's when it becomes a little bit more tricky. And that's nothing. It's not because we don't have people that want to go. It's DVC availability is the name of the game within those time frames. And so that's the thing that limits rental opportunities within those periods of time. So
Carrie Donkey. Carrie, if that's your last name, that's interesting. She said, do you think they will ever consider converting Yacht Club, or does it make too much money from the conventions to convert? I don't think that Yacht Club is a highly sold hotel. It's usually one of the ones that, a lot of travel agents will say this to you: Beach Club books fast. Polynesian as a hotel books fast. But the whole one of the reasons they were able to take a building from Grand Floridian is because Grand Floridian really doesn't book as fast as Polynesian, and Yacht Club is like in the same boat. Like, it's always outshadowed in hotel bookings by Beach Club. So even though it's a convention hotel, I still think that there would be a great benefit to Disney finding a way to take a wing like they did with Copper Creek, or add some kind of building somewhere. I know if you look on the map, there's not a lot of space, but I mean, Beach Club Villas is sitting over top of a waterway. So if they can build a whole villas over top of a waterway, they can find something. They can do something. I think it's going to happen. I don't know when. It might not be for another 10 years or so, 5-10 years, but it's going to happen.
Eric said, "What's being whispered about the empty spaces at Boardwalk?" Eric, last I heard, a Red Baron pizza shop was coming in, so that's all we really know. But that's the rumor.
I'm gonna be their first.
That's going to be the rumor that we start spreading.
Actually,
some sort of pizza. Well, they have the pizza window already.
No, the pizza window is garbage.
Wow, you heard that here first, ladies and gentlemen.
We need a real pizzeria in there, or something with beer. And
What a Wonderful Life said, are the Treehouse Villas going to get a refurb? Actually, yes. Supposed to be on the agenda for this year, I thought.
Yeah,
but
it should be starting soon.
It should be starting pretty soon. So this year, it could be pushed into next year because we always see kind of a little bit of a delay with some of these refurbishment projects. But it was always a little bit behind Saratoga, so that's why they waited several years after after that. So. Let's see.
Oh, Yacht is in the same boat. Pun unintended.
Wow.
Happy accident.
Yeah.
Where is your favorite resort? That's a loaded question.
That is a loaded question, and both of us always answer this question with a non-DVC resort. So Coronado Springs. It's the emotional attachment that you have to a resort. It's the resort you went to where I know this one fell in love with Disney. You know,
That's true. Yeah. I've always loved Grand Floridian. I've always loved Boardwalk. But then when you throw in the other resorts, it's like, how do you compare that to Alani? How do you compare that to Vero? You know what I mean? Because we love visiting Vero. It's such an escape. And Alani, although it's way harder for us to get to, we haven't been there in so long. It's just so hard to pick a favorite resort. And I go back and forth between even Boardwalk and Grand Floridian while we're here. Yep. My favorite resort is whatever resort I'm staying in and having a good experience.
I feel like the longer we talk, the more trouble Tim Steele gets into.
The more money.
Tim, thank you again for the super chat. My wife Susie is annoyed at me for not mentioning that she loves the show too.
Hi, Susie.
So here we are. Tim, thank you. Hello, Susie.
Also, I love the way she spells her name.
Yeah, that's a great.
I hate the spelling of my name. Yeah. I need more interesting spelling like Susie has.
Yeah, for sure. Well, everyone, we love that you all have joined us on a Sunday evening and had nothing better to do than to just chat DVC with us. We do plan to hopefully do some more of just kind of these general Q&As. We would love for the rest of the team to join us. For these kind of settings, it's sometimes easier just for us to kind of jump on the screen, just the two of us.
Especially when we're out in a DVC resort, yeah.
But yeah, we might start trying to do some more of these Q&As to help answer some questions that you might have about Disney Vacation Club. Maybe try to get into some details even more about using your points and that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
If you guys have some of those questions in the future as well. I don't know if your mom got hacked because she just said, hey, again. So hi, Mom. Hey. Again. Hey. Hey again. But thank you all for taking time to join us for this 300th episode. We've not been on these shows for all 300 episodes, but it's a small feat to say that any podcast, I think, gets this far. And we're so incredibly proud of the journey that it has been through. And we're so happy to, as you kind of kicked off the show saying we've moved on from pushing the car, we're driving the car now.
I said at the beginning we've always been there. We weren't driving the car, we weren't even sitting in the car, but we sure were pushing it very hard from behind.
And so we're so happy to kind of just be here and sharing this experience with you all now. And we love the love that you show for us and the love that you show for this product and this brand, because that's why we're here. That's we love Disney Vacation Club. That's why we now have an entire career dedicated to it. So we hope you all enjoyed this live stream, this special edition of the DVC Show. Thanks for joining us.
Talk to you guys.
As always, as you're signing off, just smash that thumbs up one more time for us. All of you that have been chatting with you, thank you for subscribing to the DVC Fan YouTube channel. If you are watching this right now and you are not subscribed, we have so much amazing content up there. We got some great content coming to you in the near future. Amy and I are actually headed this week to the grand opening celebration of Epic Universe. We actually were invited by Universal to go out the night before, and so we're going to bring some of that along to you all, because we have so many of you asking about Epic, and we know that a lot of you are planning on making it a part of your Disney Vacation Club vacation coming up within the next year or so. So we're going to share a lot of information about that. We've also got more exciting plans coming later this summer, more room tours, all that kind of fun stuff.
Disneyland next month.
Disneyland
we'll have
in
some
June.
Content
so
from there.
Disneyland 70th, we're excited for that. So
and the Grand Cal Reverb.
So please follow along on our YouTube channel, join in the conversation on the DVC Fan Facebook group, and then if you want some more behind the scenes content, that kind of stuff, head to patreon.com/DVC Fan for all of that. Thank you again for carving out a little bit of time on your Sunday evening with us. And we won't see you this Monday, but I promise, as always, we will see you next Monday.